Now, does anybody know what's going on in this picture other than a second lieutenant is using a phone and a computer? Any guesses? What's actually happening in this picture is that the Air Combat Commander, General Mike Hostage, is observing Second Lieutenant Suzanne Sparks as she employs a missile detection sequence simulation. So, with nothing but interaction between a computer, a telephone, and communication devices, Second Lieutenant Sparks and others in her position can detect, deal with, and report an incoming missile within 60 seconds, all with human-machine interaction. Good afternoon, Captain Smith, fellow cadets. I am Cadet 3rd Class Rebecca Krause, and today I'll be briefing you on human-machine interaction. In brief overview, I'll be going over how human-machine interaction technology stands today, the future directions that it needs to take for us to remain competitive in the world market, perils of failing to act on this vision. Then I will summarize and take any questions you may have. Currently, at the most basic level, human-machine interaction is any way in which a human interacts with the machine. Right now, as you can see, it's mostly manual. We have computers, we have keyboards, we have old-fashioned Atari-style joysticks, we have buttons, levers, switches, these airmen are both looking at multiple screens, they have video. All of this is manual. There are some automated processes, but the vast majority of what we do in the Air Force will be manually controlled at some point. Here, this is a staff sergeant, and he's controlling the sensors of an MQ-1B Predator, and this is a first lieutenant controlling the same Predator, actually doing the piloting at Joint Base Ballard, Iraq. Now, today we use human-machine interaction for pretty much every role that we have in the Air Force, especially our remotely piloted aircraft. Essentially, they're robots, but there's always going to be human on the other side, as Cadet McEachern mentioned in her speech, or in her briefs, excuse me. All of our aircraft are machines. They're all going to require some sort of level of human interaction. The human will give commands to the machine. The machine will perform the executed commands, hopefully, as long as everything is going well. They'll collect data. They'll go defuse a bomb. Whatever they're instructed to do, they will do. Then they will give feedback in the form of data or whether or not their mission was successful to the human, who must then either pass it on to be interpreted or interpret the data themselves. So we use an aircraft, we have radar, missile defense, early warning systems. Those are all require human-machine interaction. Ordnance disposal, we have ordnance disposal robots that require direct human interaction. Sometimes the units that work with them will get quite attached to them and give them names, so it's a more direct, personal form of interaction. Satellites and communications, medical equipment, computers, cell phones, all of it is at some level human-machine interaction. For instance, this is a picture of the destruction in Haiti, taken from a Global Hawk stationed at Neal Air Force Base, California. Now, a human had to control the Global Hawk, take the pictures, interpret the pictures. Dozens and dozens of man-hours and as many machine hours went into the formation and analyzation of this image. In the future, we must make sure that we're making these user-friendly interfaces. We must be able to work with the computers quickly and efficiently above all. The Air Force stated in its New World Vistas project that the ultimate form of human-machine interaction would be thought control. That's as fast as we could possibly imagine we could make this interaction. We're also developing small and micro robots that could do intelligence scouting for us. We're working on ways to maximize our effectiveness, not only by making things like our RPAs stronger, better, faster, but how to interpret the data better and faster, how to take in that information and interact with the machine on that level. And finally, cyber operations. When we're interacting with machines, they must be secure. Perils of failing to act, we could fall behind in the world market. That means we'll lose information superiority, which basically keeps us at the top of the game in the world theater. We'll become inefficient, especially if our allies do continue to advance. If we don't, we can't interact with them on the same level. That'll bring about inefficiency. And finally, exposure to cyber threats. Sometime last year, 6 seconds of this footage rolled in a Chinese documentary meant to praise the military leaders. What it shows is a Chinese force executing a simulated attack on a Chinese website that the government does not like. This was a major intelligence leak. This was never supposed to be leaked. But it proves that that other forces are gaining the technology to execute cyber attacks. If we're going to continue to interact with our machines, we must make sure that they are secure. In summary, I went over human-machine interaction technology today. the necessary future directions that we must take with this technology, and the perils of failing to act on this. Are there any questions? So now I hope that you can see the importance of human-machine interaction in a world in which you can plug a computer directly into an airplane. This concludes my briefing.